Hello and welcome to another wonderful day in the Austrian Alps. Today I am wearing my dad's overall, as you can see, and that is because I will be working on the Mini today. I am going to really just do sort of a maintenance thing. It's not necessary, but since I live in the Austrian Alps we have a lot of salt sprayed in the winter, and because of that a lot of the underparts get rusty or just really aren't in that good condition anymore, and I want to clean and paint the back plates or protection plates or whatever you want to call them of the brake discs, because they are in not such a good shape anymore, and I think it's a good thing to do as a prevention of rust. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing today. Before I start working on the Mini, I just wanted to show you something really cool, because I was in the Netherlands at my grandparents last week, and my grandpa gave me a case with a bunch of tools that he doesn't need anymore, and they're really old, so just look at this. So as you can see, this is the brake disc, and just behind it there's this back plate or protection plate, whatever you want to call it. It's not in the greatest condition anymore, so I'm going to clean it and paint it. To get to the back plate, I first have to remove the entire brake system, so the housing, the entire caliper system, and it's pretty easy to get to. I think these two, this top and the bottom, are 13. Once I have that off, I'll just take off this part, which I think is a 15, I'm not sure, we'll see, and then obviously the brake disc, which is a T50, because BMW and me really like torques, so now I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I have a 13 and a 15 here, because you have to kind of work against it. Now then, in theory this is already loose, the caliper, but there's also the handbrake attached to it. Now I'm not sure if I should take that out. I think I have to take that out. To take off the handbrake, you just first remove this little clip here, this one, and then with the same 13mm, there's one bolt on the back here, which you can just turn down and then pull it off. Great. Come on. Ja hoor, 16. Okay, this is a 16. There's two bolts in the back here, hidden in here. So I'll just let this spray caliper rest on this. Actually, I should be using the correct tool for this. Dag je.
Close.
Geef mij een beetje Er is immers een zwart koffer. Daar links. Hier heb ik die zwarte koffer.
Oké.
Wat is nog maar op? Okay, there we go. The paint that I applied to this once 2 years ago is still in really good shape. It's just a little bit nasty, but that's okay. Next up is the brake disc, which is a T50. Looks like this, wonderful. We had to get a special tool for this shit, but it fits beautifully.
Oeh, ik doe het. Pas op, nee.
There we go. Damn. Everything is a bit dirty. But the back plate is especially bad. So that's why I'm going to remove it and make it real nice. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have this tool now, which I forgot I had, but it's nice and fast, so. Let me quickly show you what the issue is here. So these are there are 5 of these Torx bolts. They're T30s, but you can't reach between the hub and the backplate very well. So I've thought of a contraption that is very strange, but it works. And it only works because of my grandfather's toolbox or toolkit that he gave me, which is, I just use this tiny spanner and I can put it on top of the little Torx bit, then pop it in here and open it. And in the beginning it was really difficult. I don't know if you can see this. To open this. So I put another ring spanner over this to kind of put more force on it. But yeah, now it's sort of working.
One eternity later.
Okay, it was just 4 bolts after all. And here is the backplate. As you can see, it's not in the best condition. It's a bit older already. It's got, I think, 10 years on it probably. Yeah, 11 years, I think. It's not the cleanest part, so I'm also going to clean behind the hub, mostly for preventative reasons really. It's out, and first off I'm going to try and get off as much dirt as I possibly can, but it should be easy enough. I'm going to use some brake cleaner and also a drill with a nice little wire brush on it, because that will, I think, get rid of most of it, and then it'll be ready for painting. So let's go. By the way, in case you're wondering why I'm not just buying a new plate and replacing this one, it's because for the rear there are none. I could not find a replacement part at all, and I looked in I think 7 different online stores. I could not find it, so that's why I am just restoring it as best as I can. first thing I'm going to use is Zink Spray. This is what it looks like. We use this quite commonly in Austria as a protection against rust mainly, but kind of as a... You can use only this by itself, but you can also paint over it, which is what I'm going to do because it's kind of bluish, so it doesn't look that great, or bluish grayish. So yeah, I'm going to use the zinc first, let that dry, and then use black paint that is heat resistant. Of course, that is very important. So yeah, let's keep going. Time for the other side. I let this dry a bit. Now while that dries, I wanted to take a moment to explain to you why exactly it's important to keep this dust shield, because I saw online that a couple of people are removing them because they want to reduce the weight of the car. That's ridiculous, man. You need the dust shield for exactly what its name says, to protect the brake disc from dust or any kind of dirt that might come up from driving. And that's about it. But you do need it. So that's why I am restoring it rather than throwing it out or something. Yeah, now while that is drying, I'm going to make an attempt to clean behind the hub as well, because it does look quite grimy and greasy and not so good. So yeah. Okay, this doesn't work because it won't fit in between, but I have another one. This should work. Aha! There we go. Show you what it looks like. Okay, so as you saw, there is some rust, but I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to use this Epoxy Brunox is what it's called. I've used this a couple of times before, not so much on the Mini, but on an old family car I used to own, that I used to drive, which was the Toyota Avensis Verso, and it had a lot of rust, so I've used this quite often. It says it eats the rust and then kind of turns it back into iron. What it looks like now. Okay, so the next step is painting. I'm using this heat-resistant paint. It's just black. It's just normal paint, but heat-resistant. And that's it. Yep. I'm just going to use that now. First, gotta stir that baby up. Oops. Okay. That's looking pretty nice. Okay, so I'll flip it over already. Since this is kind of the inside, it won't touch if I turn it around. And that is the back side done as well. Okay, you just saw me put all that paint on there. It's actually a very therapeutic job, if I'm honest. And I am considering also putting the paint on the back of the hub, just because you should put paint to cover the this product that I put on before. Hold on, this one. It does tell you to paint it afterwards, but it has to dry. So I'm going to let everything dry for the moment, and yeah. This part is now also painted black. By the way, if you watched the video where I lowered my KW suspension and kind of screwed up because I couldn't really lower the front at all due to my wheel, I am looking for new wheels right now, but I haven't quite made the decision yet, so that video is still coming. That's not looking too shabby, is it?
One eternity later.
By the way, if there is a torque spec on this, I'm sorry, but there's no way that I can do that. That should be hella snug, honestly. So that's done. It's looking real nice, I think, and obviously it's tight. I hope I'll never have to open this again, but it's looking really good. So the same thing goes for the brake disc. There is a torque spec for it, but I don't know it. And also, I wouldn't be able to torque it up to spec, even if I wanted to, because there is no way to hold this. And it's not going to fly off, obviously, because I will be putting the wheel lugs in there, so we'll be fine. I just checked the torque spec on these. They're called collar bolts, the back ones that go into, that tighten the caliper bracket. They should be tightened at 65 Newton meters. So we'll do that. Okay, this took me forever, but it's done and I think it looks good. I'm very glad that it's protected for the winter now, especially also the hub area. So I'm going to put the wheel back on now, real quick. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is it for now. I'm going to do the front in a second video. I'm going to do the other side of the rear by myself. You don't need to see that, you already know what I did. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And the next video is going to be just the second part where I do the front. So, see you in the next one. Goodbye.